Tesla did report, I think, a fairly difficult quarter yesterday. And they don't give, a ton. They continue to have the same problems, right? They have too much inventory. They're overproducing. They've cut prices further in Europe and China, right? So to the extent you thought gross margin wasn't so great in the fourth quarter, you're going to love 1Q. I think they tried to make the call sort of optimistic about the refresh of the Model 3 and the ramp of the Cybertruck and things like that. But those things were in fourth quarter, and fourth quarter was clearly not great. You have just too much competition in the EV space globally. I mean, in China, it's probably the most intense. Europe, it's been intense. That's why you see them cutting prices without some specific tax incentives in the Eurozone. And then in the US, which had been, I think, the slowest market to become more competitive, it's incredibly intense. So, and you get into February, which is not that far from now, you're going to have the supercharger network open to GM and Ford, right? You have Toyota continuing to enter EVs. That's the largest EV maker that wasn't competing until the BZ4X, which now is, if you look around for it, pretty good looking EV that at least in New York I see pretty frequently.
Yeah.
So that's going to be more competitive. And they tried to dangle this long-term project, this sort of I guess it's the Model 2 or whatever. So they'll make it like too sexy or whatever the acronym will be for the lineup. But they're saying mid 2025, which in Musk speak means like 2030 or whatever. It takes forever to get anything out, and realistically, it takes 3 to 5 years to launch a new vehicle. So 2027 or 8, even if they push hard, would be an amazing outcome. So I think there's not a lot to really look at here. And then he tried to address his extortion, where he's like, if which is, and CEOs don't do this. This isn't appropriate where you say, look, unless I own 25% of this company, I'm not going to be the CEO anymore. I'm going to go and start a competing juggernaut in AI and robotics, to quote him. Last night, he called it a juggernaut. And why you need 25%. Then he suggested a dual class structure, which is, oh my God, right? Companies only get rid of dual class structures over time, not add them. So, not a great call, not a great look, not a lot to hang your hat on. The story wasn't as exciting and sort of fictional as it usually would be. And I didn't actually hear anything that changed my mind on anything in Tesla. So they're even saying they're out of some cost cutting, right? So difficult times there.
We would be more than happy to host. We can do a 3-way. We can do one-on-one with Jay and you. I'm not in the business of perpetuating fake news. I'm asking questions that don't have answers. And if you want to answer those questions and say there's no way on God's good earth, like I say, that I would ever sell Hedgeye, then get on Hedgeye TV and say it. If you want to, alternatively, if you just want to sit there with a political nodder like Andrew Ross Sorkin and have a pretend conversation that everybody still thinks is true, then go yourself.
Hey there, Hedgeye Nation, or if you're not part of Hedgeye Nation, thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.